Hello everyone. So for those of you who are recent college grads like me, you may know that post-graduation life can be a bit of a struggle. You've probably been hounded a million times with questions about what you want to do with your life, or you may be going straight into the job search, and it's not always easy because you may not know exactly what you want to do. And I am here to tell you that you are definitely not alone. I am totally in the same boat as you. And honestly, one of the main things that I've been struggling with is just being back home after graduation. While I was at school, I felt like I just had a bit more of a structure to my day. And even when I didn't have classes, there was always something for me to do, which is one of the reasons why I loved being in London so much. And I kind of feel like I had just started to be established with where I was, and I was finding all these fun opportunities. Whereas now I'm back home in Portland, and even though I've lived here my whole life, being back here just kind of feels like I'm starting all over again. And recently, now that I'm home for, a bit of a longer term, I've been trying to push past that because I know that just sitting and dwelling on it isn't going to help or change anything. So today I'm going to be talking about some of the things that have just kind of helped me cope with life since graduating. And also some of the things that I know are helpful that I definitely don't do enough of. So in a way, these are tips for myself as well to kind of give me a little bit more motivation. So the first tip that I've actually found extremely helpful so far is just taking a break from social media. I'm just the kind of person that tends to compare myself to other people sometimes, and I would always just find myself kind of mindlessly scrolling through my Instagram or my Facebook feed, and I started to notice that after I was done, I would just kind of feel more down about myself. And while browsing social media is kind of a fun and mindless way to pass the time, I think that sometimes seeing what other people are doing and accomplishing can be kind of toxic for your mindset. Focusing on yourself and what you are doing can be a lot more beneficial than seeing what all your old high school friends are accomplishing. If you are stressing about finding a job and you're spending hours online trying to search for something that might suit you, it may be helpful to just take a step back and get outside and do something that you really enjoy. I know this sounds like a really basic tip, but I always find that when I'm just out doing something, even if it's something like shopping, it really helps me to focus less on what I'm stressed out about and just kind of enjoy myself and take my mind off of it for a while. I've also started going to the gym and going on long walks a lot more. I just find that being outside and being just out of the house in general helps me feel a lot better about myself. So if you are at a place where you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, just getting out and doing something that you enjoy can just help you relax a little bit more. On that note, it's also a good idea to make sure you're taking the steps to get to where you want to be rather than just distracting yourself from all the stress. So if you are still in the process of figuring out what you want to do, don't rule out the power of self-help books. I have 3 here that I think you might enjoy. So the first one that I have here is called The Power by Rhonda Byrne, and this is the same author who wrote The Secret, which talks about the law of attraction. This one's kind of a similar concept, to be honest. It really just talks about how changing your mindset and thinking more positively, kind of turning negatives into positives, can really impact your life in a more positive way. This has just really helped me keep in mind that dwelling on the things that I'm stressed out about or focusing on the negative really isn't going to help me get anywhere with life. Now, this next one I'm still in the middle of reading, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and it is called I Could Do Anything If I Only Knew What It Was. And this is for those of you who, like me, still don't really know what it is you want to do with your life and what kind of career path you might want to follow. Obviously, it's a lot easier to go after a goal if you know what that goal is, so this book just kind of helps you figure it out a little bit. And this last one I have yet to read, but I'm actually really excited about it. It's for those of you who are a little bit more on the creative side, and it's called Design the Life You Love. This is a step-by-step guide to building a meaningful future. This is just kind of a way of helping you visualize your dream life, I guess. And there's really not a lot of text in here. It's mostly just kind of things that you fill out yourself and kind of draw in the blanks. This is just a more visual way of mapping out the life that you want to have. So I can find all these on Amazon and leave a link down below if you're interested in checking any of them out. I think a lot of people don't really realize how effective self-help books can be, but I've actually gotten really into some of these, and some of them have actually been really helpful, so they might help you as well. So whether you do or don't know what you want to do with your life, it's always a smart idea to have a really solid resume on hand. So really just take some time to work on it and perfect it. Even if you don't have any job experience, you can always list things that you did in high school, like any clubs that you were a part of, any activities that you did, just stuff like that. It really doesn't have to be just job experience. It can be other things as well. It's also a good idea to build a LinkedIn profile, which I've just recently started doing actually. But for those of you who don't know what LinkedIn is, it's a website that allows you to make a profile, which is basically like your resume, and you list kind of like all your experience on there. And then you can also connect with, you know, your old friends or even potential employers. It's just meant to be a really good networking tool that can potentially help you find a job. Take advantage of graduate internships or entry-level jobs to figure out what you do or don't want to potentially pursue as a career. You don't necessarily have to jump right into getting a full-time job. I think that idea just can seem really daunting, jumping right into like the big work life. So for example, I have 2 part-time jobs, both of which are social media related. And I know that neither of the jobs are going to be like for the rest of my life, but they're both really helping me just get started. Internships and entry-level jobs are also really great because they don't require years and years of experience. So it's the perfect way to build up the experience in the area that you may be interested in. Buy yourself a planner that you know that you're going to use. For example, this is the one that I have that I bought from Papersource, but I think the original brand is Bando. This is such a cute planner that I spent more than I would usually spend on a planner, but I think the fact that I spent a little bit more makes me want to use it more because I want to get the use out of it. But I find that this has actually really helped me plan out week to week, just to make sure that I'm being productive and doing things that my future self will thank me for. So for example, I write down, you know, when I want to film and edit videos, which I know I should probably do more of because they're not very consistent right now. Sometimes I even write down which days I want to work out. I write down things that I have to do for work. It really helps me to write down the things that I know I should be doing. And finally, I think probably one of the most important things is just to do as much as you can. If you are not going straight into a full-time job or you're having trouble finding a job, spend any free time that you have just doing things that you really enjoy and that you can kind of get lost in. Whether it's trying out a new dance class, making YouTube videos, working out. This is honestly a really good tip for myself as well because I don't always feel that I'm using my time very wisely. Sometimes I'll get home from work and just watch Netflix for an hour when I could be planning out a YouTube video or, you know, taking a walk outside. And on days when I'm not working, I sometimes struggle with how to fill my day because I still crave that kind of structure that I used to have. But I think that this free time is especially important because there's just a world of opportunity and you can either make it or break it with this. I think that just any action that you take towards your goal or finding out what your goal is beneficial. So if you can, step away from the TV, step away from the Netflix, and just do something productive with your time. I mean, obviously, it's always a good thing to have like the downtime, but just make sure you're not wasting your precious free time. I really need to remember this one. So those are all the tips that I have for right now. Again, just know that you're not the only one going through this struggle and we'll all figure it out eventually. I think this will be a really good thing for me to look back on when I have figured it out. So hopefully you guys found these tips helpful. Definitely let me know if you did or if you have any other tips that might be helpful for me or anyone else. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!